All right, let's dive into a topic that's about so much more than just biology. It's really a journey into empowerment, personal choice, and, well, understanding ourselves. We're talking about reproductive health.
But first, let me ask you something. We throw around this term well-being all the time, right? But what does it actually mean for our health? Is it just about not being sick, or is there a bigger picture we should be looking at?
And that question, it really gets to the heart of what we're talking about today. See, the way we think about reproductive health now goes way beyond the old idea of just, not having an infection or a disease. It's so much more holistic.
And here's the modern definition. It's about achieving a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. Think of it like a three-legged stool. You need all three for it to be stable. A healthy body, a healthy mind, and a supportive, safe social environment for anything and everything related to reproduction. So, why does this matter so much? Well, what's really fascinating is the ripple effect. Good reproductive health isn't just a personal thing. When people have the right information and the right care, it builds stronger families and healthier communities. It's one of those clear cases where individual well-being really does lift up the whole of society.
Okay, so we know what it is, but how do we actually do it? How do we actively protect our reproductive health? Well, like with so many things in life, the whole journey really kicks off with being aware and understanding the potential risks.
A massive piece of this puzzle is preventing sexually transmitted diseases, or STDs. If they're left untreated, they can cause some really serious long-term problems. That makes prevention absolutely crucial.
And we're talking about some common ones you've probably heard of, like syphilis, gonorrhea, HIV, and chlamydia. Honestly, just being aware that these infections are out there and understanding how they spread, that's the critical first step in protecting yourself.
But here's the good news. Prevention really boils down to three key things. It all starts with education, just knowing the facts. That knowledge empowers you to practice safe sex. And, so importantly, it means getting timely medical care if you have any worries at all. These three things together, they're like a powerful shield for your health.
Now, this isn't just about avoiding the bad stuff. Reproductive health is also fundamentally about empowerment and having a choice. And that brings us to family planning and contraception. These are the tools that give people real control over their own lives and their futures.
And wow, just look at the sheer variety of options out there. This table breaks them down so neatly. You've got natural methods, barrier methods like condoms, which also do double duty preventing STDs, then IUDs, hormonal options like the pill, and of course, permanent surgical methods. The big takeaway here is that there isn't a one-size-fits-all solution. There are tons of different tools for different needs.
Now, as part of that conversation about personal choice, there's also the topic of medical termination of pregnancy, or MTP. This is a legal, regulated medical procedure. The whole point is to provide a safe, medically sound option and prevent people from turning to illegal and dangerous alternatives.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit, because we can't talk about modern health without talking about technology. Science has handed us some incredible, powerful tools, but these tools often come with really complex ethical questions that we all have to wrestle with.
And a perfect example of this is a procedure called amniocentesis. What it is, medically, is a test where doctors take a tiny sample of amniotic fluid to check for genetic disorders in the developing fetus. It's an amazing diagnostic tool.
But here's where it gets really complicated. On the one hand, you have this incredible tool for spotting potential health issues. On the other hand, it can be misused to find out the sex of the fetus, which has led to the illegal and truly tragic practice of female feticide. It's this exact two-sided coin that explains why the procedure is so strictly regulated, to get the benefits while preventing the abuse.
But it's not all about ethical dilemmas. Technology also brings so much hope. For so many couples who face the absolute heartache of infertility, modern science has literally built a bridge to parenthood.
So what exactly is infertility? Well, the simple definition is the inability to get pregnant after trying with regular, unprotected intercourse. It's a medical condition, and it can affect both men and women.
And for those facing these challenges, this is where something called assisted reproductive technologies, or ARTS for short, can be a total game changer. It's a whole field of medicine focused on one thing: helping people build their families.
So let's quickly unpack a few of the big ones. With IVF, fertilization happens outside the body, in a lab, and then the tiny embryo is transferred. ZIFT is pretty similar, but a zygote, a very early-stage fertilized egg, is transferred instead. And then you've got GIFT, which is totally different, because the sperm and egg are put inside the body, hoping fertilization will happen naturally. 3 different paths, all leading toward the same goal. So when you boil it all down, what's the big picture here? Well, true reproductive health is that whole package: physical, mental, and social. It's all about starting with prevention, empowering ourselves through planning and choice, and navigating a world of technology that gives us incredible power, but also a huge responsibility. And thankfully, it's also a story of hope, where science is constantly finding new solutions.
And that really leaves us with a huge question to chew on. As our medical technology gets more and more powerful, how do we make sure we're always using it for good? How do we balance all this amazing scientific progress with our ethical duties to one another? That's definitely something for all of us to think about. Thanks for tuning in.